Good morning, everybody. Today we will be going over loops and conditionals. Or no, that's our topic, loops and conditionals. Today, specifically, we'll be going over if statements and else if statements. So this should be a fairly quick tutorial on how to use the two. So let's get into it. All right, we're going to be using Visual Studio again. And going to make a new project. And just name it if statement. Let's just name it if statement. Maximize this and zoom in a little bit. Okay. Basics of an if statement. An if statement would be used in most cases to basically make different outcomes for a scenario you set up. For instance, let's create two variables that are ints. So we're gonna make a int number equals 0. Oops, forgot our semicolon. And we're gonna make another int, and this is other. We're gonna make that equal to 5. Okay, the way we use an if statement, it always begins with if, and the if is usually followed by parentheses. In these parentheses, you basically state a condition. And if the condition turns out to be true, then whatever you put within these brackets here, because an if statement is followed by brackets. If you do not follow your if statement by brackets, say for instance, I just wrote something here, it would only carry out the first line that you write after your if statement. So back to what I was saying previously, if the condition that you write within these brackets within these parentheses turns out to be true, it will implement anything that you write afterwards, as long as it's in the squiggly bracket things. Otherwise, it'll follow out on the first line. So let's make a basic if statement just so we can see how everything works. All right, if, and our condition is going to be if number, so number 0 is greater than the other. So if our number 0 is greater than other, which is 5, so that should turn false, then we add our brackets and we press enter. So anything in between these brackets will print out if this condition is true. So anything we put here should not print out because this condition will return false. And as I said in the previous video, don't forget your comments when you're coding because it helps to read everything. If statement example variables. Okay, if this statement is true, we want to ask the console to print out, to write a line, right line. We want it to print this statement is true. Okay, this is a basic if statement. So let's run it and see what happens. Control F5. See, we got nothing. Okay. Now let's make it so that this statement is true. So let's put if your number is less than other. So if 0 is less than 5, which is true, it should print out this statement for us. All right. Let's Control F5. This statement is true. And that is your basic if statement right there. You can use other conditions such as if 5 plus 1 equals 6. It doesn't want 5 plus 1 in here. you'd have to do the operation beforehand. Let's see. Yeah, you have to do the operation beforehand. So if number plus other, CSC. Oh, okay, that was a problem. In any if statement, if you're using equals, you have to put two equals next to each other because that's how it is. That's the structure. So if this condition equals 6, then this will print out. With greater than, you don't need the double because this statement is self-explanatory. But you can also use, if you wanted to say if these two numbers were greater than or equal to 6, you write that as greater than equal to 6. And it'll print out because, no, it won't print out because this is less. So let's try that. Control F5. Did not print out. And we change this to less than or equal to. And it should print out. So Control F5 and statement printed out. Now let's do the equals that I was trying to do. And let's change our number to 1 so that it will print out. And let's test that. Equals works. This statement is true. Okay. So that's your basic if statement. Now, I'm going to show you guys the if-else statement, and then we'll be done with this quick tutorial. Basically, the if-else statement goes, after whatever you write within your if statement, if you want something else to happen, if this condition fails, you would simply go after this bracket and put else and follow that up with brackets as well. What this does, it says, if my condition is true, print this. Else, if this condition is false, do whatever I want it to do here. So we're going to ask the console to print again. And this time we just want it to print false. So let's make this condition not true. So equals 10. So if our condition is true, print this, else print this. All right, let's run it. Control F5. False. The condition is false. So that's the basics on how you use if and if else. And just for good measure, I'll show you the if else without the brackets and what I meant by how those generally work. So if I did this if else without a bracket, it basically would follow this condition. If this condition, it would do the first line afterwards, and I'll show you that it only does the first line. See how it indents back? So if I wrote console.write line not in the condition. Okay, so let's see. This is a false statement, so we already know by a previous example, this should not print out. So that would mean this shouldn't print out, right? No, this will print out because it's not in our condition. So let's see that. See, this not in the condition. So it's only considering this first line after that. You can also follow this up with an else. And if you follow it up with an else without the brackets, the else will follow the same pattern of only taking the first line afterwards. So console.write line print my else. So this reads, if this is true, print this, else print this. And anything after this will not be considered. I'll make that so that you can see that also. Not in condition. Okay, let us print this. Control F5. All right, the condition was false, so it printed my else, and then not in the condition, printed also. But just to that kind of doesn't show that it doesn't work, so let me make it so that this is true. So they're only supposed to print this one, then it'll print that one also. Just to give an example. Okay, 6, so F5. Statement is true, not in the condition. All right. So that is the basic if and if else statement. On the next tutorial, I'll be showing you guys the switch statement. And then after the switch statement, we'll be moving into loops. But for now, everybody, have a great day, and I will see you next time.